What's going on, everybody? I'm going live. I was just live on another person's channel, and I don't know if the live stream went south or she just cut me off. But I'm going to give my articulation about this on my own page, and we're going to talk about this Aaron Bailey shooting. So as soon as a couple people get on here, we're going to start. But for those of you who are joining, the reason I'm making this because this situation has made me so frustrated that I want to make a live video. But I went live with somebody just a minute ago, and it appears that she just cut off the live stream and just cut me out the live stream. Now, I don't know if it was technical difficulties. I'm going to give her the grace that it was technical difficulties. But from all intents and purposes, she cut me off because she didn't agree with me. Now, let me articulate reasonable truth about Aaron Bailey. Now, a lot of people are jumping on the Aaron Bailey bandwagon because that's what people do. They jump on the Aaron Bailey bandwagon. Anytime a black person is shot by a white police officer, it is somehow outrage with no evidence involved. There's no need for evidence involved. People just get emotional because somebody died at the hands of another person, happen to be a black man, and then they want to go crazy. Let me give you a few facts about Aaron Bailey that people don't want to tell you about. Aaron Bailey's criminal record is ridiculous. Aaron Bailey has been charged with robbery multiple times. At the time of this incident, Aaron Bailey had an ankle monitor on because he was being closely monitored he's in the process of being charged for theft. Aaron Bailey is out at 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 a.m. This man is being characterized as a father who's trying to battle homelessness in a criminal record, yet he has all of this criminal history and he's out at 2 o'clock in the morning riding around on a suspended driver's license. Now, the people on the left or the people that disagree, they will have you believe that this guy was just, our cops was just harassing him and all this. But let me tell you the truth. The truth is that the officer is passing by a convenience store, ran the plate on the vehicle from a known person who has robbed places multiple times. They drive by this convenience store and they see a Cadillac with all 4 doors open. The car is still running, no occupants. If that's not a clear sign that something ain't right, I don't know what is. They obviously wanted to thwart the robbery. More than likely, they called a convenience store to see if the robbery was occurring at the time. And just because the convenience store may have said that a robbery wasn't occurring, don't mean it wouldn't happen in the next couple seconds. But they circled the area. They came back around. They watch Aaron Bailey get ready to exit the driveway of the convenience store. Aaron Bailey had plenty of time to exit and drive through, but he waited for the police officers to pass. When police officers see that is the first sign of criminal activity. 2 o'clock in the morning, I just saw your car with all the doors open. You wait for me to pass you to come out of the driveway. It's on now. We already know you doing something you ain't supposed to be doing at 2 a.m. They get behind him. He switched lanes without signaling. That right there is a clear indication that we could pull you over. He don't just pull over. Wait, I think he pulled over the first time. They noticed that his hands were shaking and all this other stuff. He has every sign and symptom of somebody that's involved in something they shouldn't be involved in. He flees from the police on a high-speed chase. The only reason a high-speed chase ended because he crashed. Not because he gave up, not because he's a good law-abiding citizen and he decided, hey, I need to stop. I don't want to go to prison. It's because he crashed into a tree. This man crashes into a tree. Officers exit their police vehicles, give him commands. He disobeyed commands, goes into the center console. People argued that the crash caused the center console to open. That's why at the time of his death, they found the center console wide open. Forensic evidence proved that the crash did not cause the center console to open and that, in fact, Aaron opened the center console after the crash. which corroborated the police officer's story that he went into the center console while disobeying commands. He disobeyed commands. They are under the perception that he is pulling out a gun from the center console. When he's making his turn, they start firing on him. Seems to me to be reasonable. The law in self-defense and use of deadly force is very simple. It doesn't matter how you feel. It matters what the law says. The fear of serious bodily injury and or death to you or another person is grounds to utilize deadly force. Deadly force is not limited to just firearms. Deadly force is used to stabbing somebody, stomping somebody to death, suffocating them, running them over with your car. Those are all uses of deadly force. There's multiple threats of deadly force. It may not always be a gun. The threat from a knife, the threat from physically harming somebody hand-to-hand battle, which means if you and Kimbo Slice in the streets and you a 70-year-old woman, there is a literal fear of serious bodily injury and or death. You can shoot that man using deadly force. People are putting this in a circle. So if the officers feel that there's deadly force that they need to use to eliminate a threat, they are going to use the deadly force. The young lady on the other stream argued with me that there was no reason that reaction can beat action. And I gave her a scenario. When I was on the SWAT team, we did training where we had a guy in the front and a guy behind him. They're both facing the same way. The person behind him literally is trying to figure out how fast can you draw and shoot. So you have to wait till the person in front of you draw their gun before you can draw yours and shoot. When you see him draw, you got to draw your gun and you fire at a target. Whoever gets the shot off first, reaction time is better. They are trying to prove to you that even if you're behind the curve, you can react just as fast as somebody else if you can anticipate it. So there is a possibility that a person's reaction and action can simultaneously respond together. The problem with that argument is that their reaction isn't just a turn. Their reaction started when he went in the center console. And when his hands came out the center console, it's shooting time. Now, I'm telling you, she said the officers testified that the turning motion and the fact that he turned all the way around as if he was going to shoot them is the problem. She said that was impossible because he got shot in the back. The officers are at, the guy's facing 12 o'clock, officer at 7, officer at 4. She said 5. The officer's probably at 4 or 5. These officers on two sides of this man. When the shooting goes off, if you are at 12 o'clock, you got a person here, you got a person here. They're not here. They're not here. They're back here and they're back here. If you go to the center console and then you turn, your back is exposed to them majority of the time. Even if you turn to 7 to 9 o'clock, like he suggested, your back is still exposed to the person who's at 5 o'clock. If they're shooting you from the back, if they start shooting you when you go from here to here, you're getting hit in the back at all points, all the way to 9 o'clock. This person can still be shooting you in the back even though you are facing this other officer. Supposedly, this is a contradictory statement. It really doesn't matter because you don't get off of murder slightly because you may articulate something inaccurately or you may articulate something that can be questionable. You get off based on the law. Were you in fear of serious bodily injury and or death? Did you fear for your life? Would a reasonable person fear for their life in that given circumstance? And I would say yes, clearly. Now, this is the problem in addition to this. Not one person that is arguing this is arguing at any point that Aaron Bailey is wrong as two left shoes. I don't hear anybody arguing the fact that he shouldn't have been driving at 1 o'clock in the morning on suspended driver's license. That would eliminate this whole situation if he wasn't driving. They don't want to talk about the fact that he had committed multiple robberies, or at least been a suspect in multiple robberies. You at 2 o'clock in the morning, you at a convenience store with your car running and all the doors open, and you've been convicted of robberies in the past. You are currently on like supervised release with an ankle monitor on. At what point do you think that you're not going to have a bad interaction with police officers if you flee from them? Nobody's talking about what Aaron did. Nobody's talking about the life of crime. Nobody's talking about his disobedience to law. The fact that he's driving on suspended driver's license to start with. Nobody's talking about the fact that he fled from police in a residential area, putting everybody's life in danger. The citizens, putting the officer's lives in danger and his own life in danger, and the life of his passenger in danger. All of these components, nobody's talking about. Because it doesn't matter to them. All they want to do is point the finger at the police. Now, when you go to the court and you go into the court of law, the police are justified. All these other police shootings, these people are justified. Just because you don't like the justification don't mean they're not justified. What we need to be doing is, instead of pointing the finger at the police officer who is justified by law, we need to be pointing the finger at these people who are putting themselves in situations that they're getting justifiably shot. And you have these ignorant people that say, he shouldn't have been killed. He shouldn't have been killed because he was driving on a suspended driver's license. He didn't get shot because he was driving on a suspended driver's license. He got pulled over because he was driving on a suspended driver's license. Now, what you gonna say? He shouldn't have got pulled over because he was driving on a suspended driver's license? No, he got shot because he went into the center console refusing to obey commands, and he made a furtive effort to turn towards the police as if he's gonna shoot them. And they shot him. Case closed. That's why they're not getting prosecuted. That's why it's not going. This is why they're not getting indicted. Clear as the noonday sun. Now, some of y'all, you can get mad at me and you can say whatever you want. You can call me the next Kanye West and all this other stuff. People are going to still die if you don't change what you're doing. You can argue with these police until you blue in the face. The law is very clear. If you don't like the law, then you need to be mad at the law. Don't get mad at the police for responding to the law. You're not going to change. Young people, if you don't tell them to change what they're doing, they're going to continue to get killed day in and day out. If you don't tell people that driving on suspended driver's license is going to get you pulled over by the police, then you're going to continue to get pulled over by police. If you don't tell young people that fleeing from the police is going to exacerbate a situation that you're not ready for, people are going to still flee from police and get into altercations with police officers. I'm not understanding how this is so difficult. You know, and people talk about these merit boards. The merit board in Indianapolis for this police department determined that these officers should not even lose their jobs. They not only were they cleared through the court system, because the prosecutor said that there was no grounds to bring charges against them. So not only are they cleared in the court system, they had a civilian counsel determined that they shouldn't even lose their jobs. Why are people arguing with me about this? If it looks like a duck, it's probably a duck. If the court system is saying that they're not guilty, if the merit council, independent citizens, you could cry that some of them are biased. You could say some of them are biased against the police officers. You can cry both ways. Maybe the police, maybe there are some people on the council that's biased towards the police, and maybe there's people on the council that's biased against police. You could say the same thing on both ends. The bottom line is that a 5-2 vote, that these officers shouldn't even get fired when their own police department suggested that they need to get fired. Now, the police officers know the pulse of the police department. The officers on the police department know that the chief is full of crap. They know that the chief is just doing what's politically correct. The chief don't give a F about these police officers. Same thing with the chief in Tucson. That chief don't give a care about these police officers. Man, that dude is doing what's right for his career. He's doing what's right for the city council. He don't care about these police officers. He'll throw you under the bus, run you over, back over you, pour gasoline on, set you on fire, and let you die. I honestly believe that. And so when the chief of police say, see, this is the problem with some of these naysayers. If the chief of police said these officers should keep their job, oh, he a racist. He shouldn't even have his job. That police officer is in part, he's biased towards the police. They done talk trash about this police chief when he disagree with them. And when the police chief say these officers should be fired, yeah, he's the right police for us. He's the right chief for us. He's the man. He's impartial. So they have an independent counsel that the citizens agreed upon, because the police chief cannot be impartial in their eyes. He's the police chief. He's going to take the back of the police officers, or he's going to absolutely hate them. So what the citizens decided to do is to have an independent counsel of people, some of which probably had some level of law enforcement experience. I don't know what the criteria is. I know what we do in ours in Tucson. But the citizens decided to have an independent counsel. And now that the independent counsel is deciding to rule outside of their favor, now it's all biased. And